Hi, I'm Miles.
And I'm Marika.
And this is I Don't Know What I'm Doing.
Because we don't.
Hey guys, hi.
Hey!
Back again.
I'm back. As you guys know, that we would start with our fails.
My fail happened on Friday. So I took the day off of work because we had our holiday party on Thursday, and I was like, last year I didn't take the day off of work.
Yeah.
But like, why wouldn't I if I could, right?
Right.
So I took the day off, and I bought this rug like a week ago that I hated.
yeah.
So I had to return it.
Right.
And it was 38 pounds. So
No.
I carried it was like it's like kind of carpet squares you connect.
Yeah.
So I carried the box, like mostly actually on my head, and walked to the post office, which was like a mile away.
Oh, okay.
So it was like,
seemed too bad.
it was a process. I mean, I like kept switching
Just
what
think about those
did.
women in like third world countries.
I did. I was like, I'm gonna be like an African woman, but like she has like a pot that's vertical. I have like a horizontal pizza box.
Still, it's still difficult for them when they have to do it. Like that's their full-time job to bring water to their house. Anyways.
Well, I wish I could hire her, so... but I had to do it. So I went to the post office, and the woman was such a bitch at the register. Like, I could tell... It's one of those things where you can tell a stranger thinks that you're an idiot.
Oh, I hate that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They think that everyone's an idiot, especially you.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, God. So I, like, went up to the desk, and she's like, this is not taped correctly, and this is not secure. And I waited like 10 seconds and just stared at her, and I was like, is there a tape available for purchase? She's like, right there. And where's your address? And I was like, okay, where's the return address? So I like tape it up. The return address was on a label already, so I just peeled off the shipping label, moved it, and then put it back in front of her. And she's like, where's the return address? And I was like, it's right there. She's like, what? I'm like, I'm Miles Johnson. That's my address. She's like, it needs to be in the top left corner. I was like, you're so mean to me right now. So I like wrote that, finally sent it. It was $50 because it's 38 pounds.
Yeah.
It was like $47 something, and I shipped it to Georgia. And she didn't even say thank you at the end. Like, she gave me the receipt, and I was like, thank you, and she just didn't say anything.
What a bitch.
I was like, this is horrible customer
Do you ever want to go
service.
back and be like, just because your life is miserable, don't put that shit on me.
I thought about all the shit I could say. Like, I thought I could have, like, turned around after and been like, good luck with her, everybody. But I was like, that's not gonna help anybody.
Wait, but it would, like, if someone said that to me while I was waiting in line, I'd be like, oh, at least I'm emotionally prepared for this interaction that I'm about to have.
I'm not gonna, like, get anything out of, like, stabbing her with saying some shit. I was like, I'll just leave because she's clearly miserable
Oh, you
or
should have
something.
been like, I hope you have a better day. Or something like that's like a compliment, but really not. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, something like
Of course, I think about all these great things to say after the moment has happened. Like, that always happens to me.
I thought about it in the moment. I was like, I could say something at the end of this transaction.
I'm too cowardly to say it, though.
I just wanted to get away from her. I was like, this is so negative and
Oh,
poisonous.
yeah. Also that.
So.
But, yeah, for me, like, I just don't do it because I'm too much of a coward, and I want to be nice. I'm like, oh, they're just having a shitty life, and like, it has nothing to do with me. I'm
It's
not
just
gonna
a shitty life for them.
like, it has nothing to do with me at all. Like, they're just taking it out on me. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with me. Except I didn't
Yeah.
secure my box properly, but
Oh, okay.
it came a little unsecured while I was carrying it for a mile. Like,
Yeah. Like, whatever.
maybe I used Scotch tape, but whatever.
Okay. So I sent a risque video of myself to a certain person, thinking that there was going to be like this big reaction. And it wasn't, and this video is just me touching myself for 10 minutes.
Naked. 10 minutes?
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Naked, clothes.
Clothes.
Okay.
On the couch.
Scantily clad.
I had sweats. Like, it wasn't anything. So it was actually a part of a longer video. hoping that I would get a big reaction, and then they'll be like asking for more, and then I would have more.
Oh. I want you to be like, it's actually part of a mini series. I'm doing.
Yeah. Sent this video the next morning. And they like, well, before I sent it, I asked them if they were up, and they said yes, and like whatever. And they were just having a bad morning, and I'm like, okay, well, I made a video. And like, oh, okay. Like, they were excited. And then I sent it. And then, for the rest of the day, didn't get a text back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, great. I was so mad. As the day gets later and later, I'm so mad. And I'm like, okay, well, they're at work. They're busy. They're going to text me at their lunch. They were having a bad morning. They were rushing to work. They were running late. They're going to text me at lunch.
Right.
Did they? Did not do it. I'm like, great.
Is it because they weren't going to watch it till like after work?
Well, I told them to watch it. I want them to watch it before work, so then they can think about it while they're at work. And
oh my God, Marika, you're all about like building this like fantasy and like.
Thanks to porn. Okay. So, yeah. So I'm like, and then I go to my lunch. No text. I'm like, Day gets later and later, and then it's like the end of the day. It's like 5, 6. I'm like, still no fucking text. I'm like, what's happening here? Like, this is what happens to me all the time. I put myself out there, and then, they're like, oh, we have her now. Oh.
Yeah.
Like, now we can just do whatever we want because we have her, and now we're going to be indifferent and blah, blah, blah. Like, fuck you.
There's no respect.
Yeah, no, there's no respect of like, hey, like, you were like pawing at me before, and now since I'm into you, like, you're just gonna, my job here is done. Great, awesome. So, I'm stewing about this, whatever, and I'm on my way home, I'm like getting gas, and I'm thinking like, okay, I'm not gonna send a text to him because, this is making me super pissed. I don't want to have any interaction with him ever again. Mm-hmm. But then I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. Am I gonna bring it up later in Cave when when they eventually text me or want to? Like, yes. So I was like, wow, what am I gonna say? I don't want to sound too bitchy or whatever. So I said, like, so did you not get the video or what? And he's like, I texted you telling you I liked it. And then he's like, didn't I? And I am like...
Is that a lie?
Nope. It's like, he didn't send it. And
or he never...
He never replied.
He's just lying.
Or he thought he did or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I was watching it while I was driving this morning.
Wait, I'm watching it while he was driving?
Mm-hmm. Which I...
What if he died?
Well,
and
he
they
died
found that
happy.
video, and then what if you were, like, on trial? Was that?
Well,
I wonder.
I mean, you my face is not in the video, so
okay,
it might be hard to
the
identify.
The police are like, we recognize Marika Witt's body anywhere.
We recognize that mole on her right arm with the hair tie. Yes. And then I just give a thumbs up emoji because I'm like, cool, not pissed. Yeah.
But you're still pissed though?
Oh, I'm still pissed.
Yeah.
Of course. And he knows, and I'm like, he's like, I really am sorry. It was pretty hot. Like, I'm so mad about it because, like, your reaction was not like the other reactions when I, like, sent a sexy picture of myself. Are
you trying to get validation from it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lately, that's what I'm craving right now is validation.
Yeah.
So, my fail is, like, basically probably overreacting or something. Or...
Not sending a good enough video.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, that. Not sending a good enough video.
You should make it super, like, freaky and weird next time. It should be like, is she eating that dead animal?
Okay. Yeah, so that's my fail.
But you guys, we have a guest today. It's been a little while.
Yay!
We were coworkers. Now we're not. Mm-hmm. It's all good.
It's all good.
This is James.
Yay!
Yay! I'm here.
Yay!
James is really hot, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll believe that. You can't see me.
That's true. James could look like anything.
But he sounds hot, guys. And he is. So.
Oh, that's so nice.
You're welcome.
And this episode is called I Don't Know God.
Yes.
So yeah, we wanted James on because I know a little bit about his past, but I feel like there's like a lot of religion stuff, and his story I feel like is really interesting. So we're just gonna have him like go through that for y'all.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I live in Chicago now, but I grew up in a very conservative family in southern Missouri. We went to a Baptist church like 3 times a week. And like my parents were really involved, and so like from the moment I was born, like I had no choice but to be like quote unquote religious. And it was just kind of like almost like you adopt it like an ethnicity almost. Like you're just a Baptist person, you know? Like that was who I was. That was my identity. And so like as I was growing up, I also started to feel a little different, you know, like as I was kind of getting older and starting to notice boys instead of girls, and I didn't really know where to put that, but I did know, I had like the wherewithal to know that what I felt was kind of against what we were being taught in the church.
Yeah.
And so I was like pushing all of that down, and I was like trying to be a good
Did the church
Christian
like
kid.
explicitly? I don't know a lot about Baptist stuff. Was it explicitly like talk about anti-gay stuff?
So like in southern Missouri, like the gay agenda wasn't really on anyone's radar, but they certainly like preached against homosexuality,
Oh, really?
same-sex attractions, and you know like acting out on those things, and so on. So yeah, so I had kind of had that to deal with, and then when I was 11, my older sister, was diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Oh my god.
And which was like a real shock to our family, because we, you know, really just kind of had the perfect little family, and I had a younger brother and a younger sister. There were 4 of us kids, and yeah, life was really good, you know, aside from the suppressing of my gayness at a young age. Everything else was great, and then she got sick, and suddenly like our lives became all about praying really hard for her to get better, and it was like the biggest test of our faith to that point. And then she died, and as like I was almost 13 when she passed away, and my like prepubescent brain kind of analyzed all of that as if God just didn't care about us. And this God that we had spent so much time like worshiping, and we were always at church, and like I felt like my parents were constantly doing things, you know, in the church and for God, and he had just kind of left us high and dry and taken my sister.
Did you feel like, oh, I'm gay, it like killed like my sister, or like because like God didn't like stop this from happening because I am gay? Like, did you blame yourself at all?
You know,
like,
I didn't. I kind of kept those two things siloed. But for me, it was just another example of how you can like pray so hard for something to happen and then it just doesn't, and yet we're still expected to continue to have faith in a God who just, you know, doesn't answer those big prayers in our lives. And I remember as a kid, like, you know, I was maybe like 9-10 years old, and I would pray for God to take these weird feelings away from me. And I remember a lot of times it was the same prayer. I would close my eyes really tight and I would say, okay, God, when I open my eyes, I'm going to feel normal. And then I would like pray and pray and pray, and then I would open my eyes and it was like, oh God, no, it's still there, you know? So that was tough. So anyway, so I lost my sister, and then my family just kind of went through a few years of just like confusion, and we still were in church all the time, and but we all kind of went off and processed it on our own. We didn't, like, no one brought us together and said, you know, let's talk about it. We didn't go to therapy, anything like that. Yeah.
Was that a good
even
thing?
like your pastor at your church, or
Yeah, no. We had a series of like pretty awful pastors at my church. They would be there for like a year to a year and a half, and then something would happen, usually bad, and they would leave.
like bad. How?
Like plagiarism?
Not like plagiarism.
Wait, does that happen?
My pastor from my
Apparently it
church when I was
does.
in college got fired for plagiarism.
Shut up! Wait,
He
from
plagiarized the sermons.
from another person?
Yeah. And they were like, okay, you plagiarized, take 6 weeks off, come back, we'll be good. And he took like 6 days off and then came back to church and then plagiarized again. And they were like,
The Sunday sermon was like Martin Luther King
Wait.
speeches.
Right.
There are all kinds of things happening in the church. And, you know, I'm trying to remember the reasons that some of these pastors left. A lot of them were just because this little church I grew up in was just full of contentious, like, awful people, and
Oh.
they would get tired of someone, the pastor, and then they would just like form a coup and vote him out, and then like another like sad sat pastor would bring his family to our small town and then try to make the church a good place, and then it just never worked. So
ew.
we didn't have a ton of support. Yeah, like so my idea about church is very different than my ideas about God. I think most churches and religions have done a really terrible job of representing the God that they worship. I think they've been really detrimental actually to that. But so anyway, fast forward, I kept going to church. I was really involved in my youth group in high school and went on to college, and I was still like suppressing my homosexuality to the point that I actually after I graduated college, I was supposed to go to medical school, and instead I spent a year in seminary, and then I started working at a church, and all I think in retrospect, because I wanted so badly to like figure out what my faith really was, and I was still trying to please this God that I was like had spent my whole life trying to get his or her attention. And then I got married to a woman. The cherry on top of the sundae was that.
Shit.
Okay, this is gonna be like a not very important question. How hot was she? Because I feel like you're a very good-looking person.
She is gorgeous. Like, she was out of my league.
What?
And
I was in my head. I was like, "Is that possible? Is that even
it-
possible?"
she is beautiful. Yeah, she's
What?
hot. She's a hottie. She was a trainer. Like, she was a personal trainer.
Okay.
Okay.
But she is also like the sweetest. As crappy as the whole thing was, that like we got married and like it all kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
She, for that entire time, was my best friend, and like she understood what I was going through, and she also, kind of came up in the church. And when you grow up in that culture, you buy into the notion that if I pray hard enough or try hard enough, that I can make anything happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that includes being gay and then becoming straight.
Yeah.
There's a whole industry built on that.
Did you?
Oh, we
that
just
idea.
saw, well.
We just.
I was like, we just saw the movie, but Marika slept through the
it.
movie. But
It was very terrible.
Wait, what movie?
Boy Erased.
Oh
Erased.
God, yeah. That I'm reading the book right now, and that is my life.
Mm.
Like, so many things in his story I can relate to.
I thought you could pray it away too. I mean, not that our church like pushed that. Our church never talked about homosexuality, but I was like, God can do anything, so make me straight, like in high school. But
Yeah. Okay. So then I promise I'm almost done with this part.
No, continue.
so much
Be,
So
yeah,
we
just
were
be
we
more
were
detailed.
married, and then I was working at a church, and I got really overwhelmed by everything in like our first year of marriage. We had bought a house. I had a meltdown on our honeymoon. Like there was a lot of like
What?
bad stuff. Yeah, and it was all because like and it's so inevitable. Anytime you're like living a lie, which I was, like, and you just keep like turning the heat up on yourself, and it just gets bigger and bigger until you eventually just reach a point where you can't maintain it anymore.
Right.
The stakes just keep getting higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
And-
sure.
and I had-
well, especially getting married, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, like I'm married, and now like you have to have sex and like
Mm-hmm.
have a family, and
Totally. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is going to be the rest of my life.
I didn't even think about the family thing until you said that. That the family could have
Yeah.
happened.
Well, when I was with my wife, I was completely like faithful. I was still suppressing
Yeah.
a lot of my feelings, and we moved to the Chicago suburbs because I got a job at this giant church. I was on staff at that church for 4.5 years.
oh my gosh.
With my wife at the time. She got a job at the church as well, like not long after I did. So we moved from Southern Indiana, where I'd been working, to Chicago.
Southern
I
Indiana.
know.
Oh, man.
God.
That's maybe the most depressing thing that's ever happened to me, was living on the Ohio River.
At that church, were they like supportive of gay culture, of gays, or no? Oh
No.
No.
No. So what happened actually when I took the job, I was my job was like the creative arts person for the children's ministry.
Oh.
So the church had 4 campuses, and so I would write music. Like it's kind of embarrassing, but I have these like 5 albums of kids music. They're just like
5
floating out
albums?
there. It's all really cheesy, like kids worship songs.
That's cute.
cute.
Do you just compose them?
Yeah, I wrote them. Yeah,
Wow.
and then they would send me to Nashville like once a year with my songwriting partner. We would just record
Really?
songs. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Holy shit.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, and so like I wrote curriculum for them. I did a lot of teaching, so I taught kids, which was always, you know, like looking back, I can see the not hypocrisy, but I
Yeah.
was saying a lot of things to those kids that I had abandoned at their age. Like a lot of beliefs about things that I so badly wanted them to believe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I could not find it within myself to believe.
Yeah.
And so there I was again, kind of living a different sort of lie.
Yeah.
And so then finally, my ex-wife and I, we had been going to counseling, we'd been doing all these things, and we finally decided that it was time to let each other go. And so we had been told that if we did that, that I would be fired from the church. And so
Interesting.
so I was let go, and you know we went our separate ways, and then I kind of came out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I came out publicly to all of the staff at the church, and it was a really it was really great because I got a lot of support that I didn't expect.
Oh, wow. Yay.
Like quietly. Like,
Oh.
people would like send me texts and like messages on Facebook and be like, "That was so brave. I 100% support you. I love you no matter what." Things that nobody said to me when I was there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mostly what I heard when I was there was, you need to go to another counselor or read this book because it's like by some lesbian who swears that she's straight now. So she's like proof that it
Doubt
can
it.
happen,
Right.
which I highly doubt. She probably still drives a Subaru.
Yep.
But so then that was 5 years ago, and now I'm like I have a really good life as an out gay man. I work at a place that's very supportive, and then as far as like my faith goes, it's just become something that I've almost completely detached from like a structured church environment. So I don't call myself particularly religious. But I still have probably the strongest relationship that I've ever had with God because there's no pretense. Like I don't have to do it because I'm getting a paycheck. I don't have to do it because my mom and dad expect me to do it. It's just like I'm an adult now and
It's organic.
can make these choices for myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my story.
Okay, so
And we're done. No, I'm kidding.
was your wife the first one? Like, was she like the first one to know?
Yeah. She was the first one that I came out to.
In like therapy or like when the divorce was like finalized or?
No. So I came out to her about 2 days after we got home from our honeymoon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we went to Mexico. It was beautiful. I had kind of built this dream honeymoon that was going to like just be magical,
Yeah.
you know, because I just had these expectations. And then it just didn't happen, and we cried a lot, and so we came home to southern Indiana,
Oh
and
my God.
we had to sign on a house like
Oh,
the
okay.
next
Ew,
day.
wait, was your house like $17 because it was Southern Indiana?
It was $18.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, we paid a
Yeah.
lot. So yeah, we signed on our house. We cried during the signing.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was bad. And so then we drove to meet the pastor who had like officiated our wedding, who used to be my boss at the church. And so we told him that we were just having a hard time, and I still was like holding on, like white knuckling this secret of mine. Because I had like built it up my entire life as like the most detriment. Like if I told somebody, like my life was over.
Yeah.
You know, that's
How I felt. That's how I
Yeah.
felt too.
God, that's so awful. But then, like, thinking about it, I'm like, no, I wish I could tell both of you, like, no, it's not. Like, what would be over? Like, what would be over?
Earthing.
Everything, girl. Everything gonna be over. I think you just build up this expectation that all the people in your life that love you
For this
because of who
perception
they
that
think
have.
you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they know the truth about you, that's going to make them turn their backs on you. And I was terrified of that.
Yeah.
And it was also the only world I had ever really known, you know? Like I didn't perceive a reality outside of the church.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And so we talked to him, and then we were making like the hour and a half drive home, and I just started bawling. I was driving the car, and I pulled over, and I just turned and looked at her, and the only thing she said was, I know.
What?
And
Oh my god!
I got out of the car. All I remember is like walking around the back of the car, and I just like sat in the gravel, and I was sobbing. I was crying harder than I've ever cried. She came over and like put her arm around me. She was like, "It's okay. It's it's gonna be okay." And then we just spent the next 7 years trying to make it okay. Yeah.
Anyways.
So that's pretty much it. What did I get to present? Am I?
Yeah.
Here we are. And
Yeah,
we're
wait,
at-
are you-
Now you have a
Okay,
hot
for
boyfriend.
her like 3.
I do.
Wait, you have a hot boyfriend.
I have a very muy caliente boyfriend.
Is
He's half
he
Spanish,
out of
so
your league also?
no.
That's the right
Girl,
answer.
he's in my league. We're in the same league. I don't know what
Wait,
that
let's
means.
see a picture.
Oh boy.
Wow, this is the most show and tell we've ever. Like,
There's a lot of
you've
show
never
and
made a
tell.
guest do and show us anything.
Because
Marika, you're like, I don't care about Kevin, Amanda, Jamie, whoever the fuck was on our show.
Guys, this is the hottest guest we've ever had. So like,
That's him.
oh my god. Woo! Look at that Josh.
Sweet guy. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, this was
what
this
kind
was actually the picture that this has been his Facebook picture forever, and I sent him a message on Facebook
You did.
because of this picture.
You slid into his DMs.
I slid into his
God, that
DMs.
never fucking
Yeah.
works for me. I've tried so many times, and guys are like, "Don't give a shit."
Never contact me again.
on topic is hard.
So Marika,
So,
you're
yeah.
Buddhist? No.
I wish I was Buddhist.
I don't really know your whole like deal. What was your like thing growing up?
My thing growing up was nothing. My family, my dad was not religious at all. And my mom grew up Buddhist, was not religious at all. And then
You guys just did Christmas.
we did, yeah. Oh, that's all we did.
No Easter.
Like we would do the Easter egg hunt or whatever, like and have brunch in the city and stuff.
Would
But
you do like the things that are considered religious on Easter or Christmas?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
no. And then, for some odd reason, I really wanted to experience church. And this was around the 7th grade. And my neighbors went to this Episcopalian church, which was the same church my dad used to go to when he was growing up. And my mom...
Same religion.
Right.
Because your dad's
Same religion,
yeah.
sorry, not same church. So like for an entire year, like I went to that church and it was okay. The kids were very cliquey.
Mm.
Ew.
Especially if you come that late.
And I liked Sunday school, actually. And then Damon, my neighbor, whose mom went to this church, did not like going, did not like the sermons, thought they were so boring. It was so boring. He would like get up and leave, and I'm like, this is like so awkward. Can you just like pretend?
He would get up and leave during the middle of the service?
Yeah.
Were they long
What?
sermons? Like
No!
He would just walk down the middle of the aisle out the church
No, like out the side, out the side door.
to like go to the bathroom?
Yeah!
Okay, I'm just like,
And
that's
then like
crazy
I would
to
like
me.
have to go after him, and his mom would go after him too. It's like, what are you doing? Like, it's so boring, and I'm like, okay, like, I know it is, but like,
What did you like? So you liked the Sunday school part?
I like the Sunday school part, and I just sometimes like the sermons too. So yeah, like David made it like super awkward, and I'm like, Damon, like, can you just like suck it up?
You're like,
Because,
be a friend.
Like, it's really awkward because like I keep coming to this, and you and I are friends. So like, if you leave, like, who am I gonna talk to?
Right.
God.
yeah. Also,
Did you like
God.
believe, or like were you into the God part, or
I
you just like the
believed
church
in
part?
God, but I didn't like the church part at all. And then I didn't believe in the church part. Also, what was really frustrating as a kid was like trying to find the songs and the hymns and like the different like it was just.
Oh, you
awful.
have to be ready. You have to
Yeah.
look ahead.
Yep.
But
Yep.
my dad's like a master, like bookmarks.
Oh,
the next
we
one.
did
What do you mean look
bookmarks.
ahead? Like you knew it was coming?
In the
Yeah, we
in
have
the
a brochure.
pamphlet.
The pamphlets.
Oh, we did not. Ours was like a call out. Like the old song director would be like, turn to page 197, and then you're all
That'd
like
be so much
flipping
easier.
through the book.
And that's way better for the environment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
we have the pamphlet, and you have like all the songs, and then you
Me and
just
Damon did that.
mark it.
And then we would still.
I
would still
love
mess
the
it up.
songs. That's what I like miss about church. Like I love Lord of the Dance. Such a good hymn. It's basically like, do you guys know that one?
No.
It's like an Irish drinking. It's totally an Irish drinking song. They just like reskin to be about Jesus.
I danced in the morning when the world was begun, and I danced in the moon and the stars and the sun, and I came down from heaven and I danced on the earth. At Bethlehem I had my birth. Dance then wherever you may be, for I am the Lord of the dance.
Yeah, I mean, my mom would take me to temple sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, but I wish she took me to that more. But I never really asked, and she never really did. And I felt weird asking because I didn't know Thai, and they would speak Thai at the temple, obviously. And like, I remember like giving an offering to a monk, and like you can't touch monks. Like you can't, even when you're just handing something or like just like brush. Yeah, can't do it. So you have to put it like on a cloth, and then they like pull it towards them. So that was interesting to learn. But like for me, this is gonna be like really weird. Like I would talk to God a lot as a kid, and it would usually be in the bathroom as I'm going to the bathroom.
As you're going to the bathroom?
I would just sit there and like, yes,
what
oh
else are you
God,
gonna do?
like, and just have like this conversation to myself, kind of, but I'm like putting God's name in it. Like I would just talking out loud. It's really strange, but that's what I would do as a
I think
kid.
I would feel like disrespectful or something.
I don't know. I would just like
Pooping and praying.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
be like, this is an appropriate time.
I mean, and I wasn't really praying. I was just like talking to him about
Yeah.
my life or something, and like talking things out to to him. Like, yeah.
Well, how did you feel when Ariana Grande told you that it's actually a woman?
I felt great.
Okay.
So do you still do that? The poop and pray?
I don't.
You're like, I'm too busy vomiting at the same time.
It's, as I've gotten older, it's changed into like the universe. I do believe like
that's such a
there's a
thing now.
higher power because so like science can be involved in so many things, but there's so much of it we don't know. And I do believe there's like an afterlife, and I do believe in ghosts and like aliens and all that, and it's just like there's so many stupid coincidences that doesn't like make sense for me not to like believe that there's a higher being.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, a man or a woman or whatever, but there is someone like watching us, I feel like, or something. Yeah.
I pray to Zeus.
Oh yeah.
Of course you do.
No, that's what kind of holds it together a little bit for me too. Is like, because I'm kind of like, I don't know, is God a thing or not? But for me, it's like easier to just say that there is because you get all the benefits.
What are the
I really like prayer. Like I've been doing it again recently, but I like it, and just like focusing your thoughts and like being quiet and like asking for like strength and just asking for kind of like support. Like I really like that. And then like the weird occurrences kind of like bolsters it for me. Like when I was in 7th grade, Marika knows the story, but like I was 8th grade. I had my first job. I was working in my neighbor's basement where they shipped comics.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I only had one coworker with me. He's at the far end of the room to my right. I'm like pulling invoices and like doing the orders and stuff. And then I feel a hand like clamp down on my left shoulder. So I look to my left, and it's just like boxes. And then I look to my right to see, was it my coworker, but he's all the way at the end of the room.
That's so weird.
And I'm just like, I don't know what that was, but it happened. So I'm like, if stuff like that can happen, who knows what's like out there? So
Right.
Yeah.
might as well just assume that it's all happening.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
What I think so much of like where religion gets it wrong is that people are always trying to explain that stuff.
Yes.
Like there's like we can't just be okay with like there's something out there that is
Right.
watching over us and that there is some plan to our lives and some purpose. They have to like know exactly like what they try to define all of it.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Almost like so that they can own it. Like if I can like hold on to this, then I can tell you how it's gonna be.
Same thing
Oh,
with
shit,
science
yeah.
too, like with atheists and stuff like that. Like my roommate Adam, like he's like, there's no way there's a higher being, and like I'm like, Do you not like hear yourself? Because like there's so many things that have not been proven by science, but they're there. They're out there. Like for example, like bumblebees. They still don't know like how they are like they're supporting their body weight by flying. Like they don't know.
So I went to SCAD, and the SCAD mascot is a bee. It's Art the bee, because it's an art school.
Art.
And they were like, just like we don't know how a bee can fly, they said it was impossible that there could be an art school in the South.
Oh my God.
And that's the logic.
Yeah, it's definitely the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so it's like there's so many things, and like we've explored the moon, but we haven't explored like their deepest parts of our ocean, and like.
You know what's at the bottom of the ocean? A plastic water bottle.
Oh, I bet.
With a turtle inside of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of like afterlife, what do you think happens after you die?
I don't know. The afterlife is hard for me to believe in. I think I believe in God and all that stuff, but for some reason it's hard for me to wrap my head around the afterlife. I think because it's just like seems so impossible.
Yeah.
But it's like also.
But also so inevitable. Isn't that the crazy thing? Like, when you really think about it, like, it's gonna happen to all of us. Like, whatever it is that's at the end or like after the end, like nobody's going to escape it. I think that's what is so intriguing to me about the whole thing, is that it's like the big question that we're all going to answer.
Yeah.
But nobody knows what the answer is now, and like no one's like reporting back.
Yeah.
Right.
Or at least not in a way that's like super reliable. Like you can have a hand on your shoulder like in someone's basement, but that doesn't prove.
Well, my mom had like dreams and stuff after
Yeah.
my mom died, and I had dreams after my uncle died and stuff like that. But it's like it's not reliable.
Right.
But
Right.
Because our logic tells us that it's not reliable.
right.
Well, what do you think?
Wait, but what about
happens?
the other way?
What do you mean that?
Before you're born, what's that thing?
Yeah, like where are you then? I don't know. I think that like there was the heaven that I had always been told about as a kid, you know? And then when my sister died, there was like the heaven that my sister was in.
Oh.
And then it was like heaven was like a real place. Like it became like this sort of like place that I had seen like in illustrations or kind of in my own imagination. And then like suddenly when you lose somebody, and maybe it's just like losing someone as a kid when your imagination is still you know, very active. Like suddenly like heaven became like a real place because that's where my sister was.
Interesting.
And so for me, I choose to believe that there's an afterlife. Like I choose to believe that I will see my sister again and like, you know, other people who I've lost. And if I don't, then I don't think that, you know, like I don't know that I'm going to like remember this moment when I said, you know, whatever. It's going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But here, as I live and breathe, I choose to believe that is all. There is a place where people are reunited, and it's like a lot better than this like kind of shit world that we're living in now.
Like,
yeah.
for me, like, you know, I'm really a big believer of energy can't be created or destroyed. So, like, our bodies decompose, yada, yada, yada. And I believe everyone has a soul, so that's an energy, so that goes somewhere. I don't know if it's, like, sometimes reincarnated, because I kind of believe in that. Or I also believe in mediums sometimes. So, like, they talk about, you know, people that passed away and stuff. So I'm like, there is a place. Don't know what that path is. But I just feel like your soul does, like, travel somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, like, Christianity should be so simple because it's all about, like, loving God and loving each other and not being caught up in all the trappings of the world. And I think the church has just convoluted all of that, and now we're building these massive mega churches in the suburbs.
Like CCC.
Right, that like appeal to like the materialistic side of humanity.
And they're not beautiful. No offense to Christ.
Right, they're compounds.
Yeah.
And the church, like as it was in the New Testament, was just like people getting together in each other's houses and just talking about how cool Jesus was and how like what they can do to like take care of the people in their community. And I think that is exactly what the church was intended to be. And I think if that's what the church were right now, there would be a lot more people who say they believe in God,
right,
or that they are that they're believers. I think the church has kind of screwed itself over by trying to be just by trying to dictate people's lives, by forgetting that it really is all about just loving each other and taking care of each other. Yeah, it's not about fighting against two men who want to spend their lives with each other, or fighting to tell women what they can do with their bodies. You know,
Thank you.
it's all about like, and that's what the church has become. It's become a political kind of bulldozer, and it has nothing to do with God.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with God.
Yeah,
For sure.
Well, I was going to ask what we learned today, but I feel like James just summed it up.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, thank you.
Do we have questions? So, we have a question from somebody that we don't know. Question. So, I met a guy on Scruff about a year ago. We've kept in contact off and on since then, very much on over recent times. I'm completely into him. It might be ridiculous. He and his ex ended things fairly recently, and I believe he's still getting over it. He knows I'm very interested, and he says he's emotionally unavailable. Marika, that's your specialty.
That's my specialty!
Even though we talk very consistently. I don't have a ton of friends, and he knows that as well. I'm lost on my thoughts of him in this situation, to be honest. I don't know if I could be his type physically, and I just don't know if he could really have any interest in me aside from being present as a friend. Help.
Yeah, I would honestly, this is what I would strive to do, but don't do, is back the fuck off, okay?
Yeah.
Back the fuck off. You gotta make them want you more, okay? Don't be too emotional. If they say, like, I missed you, be like, same. Okay? One word answers, alright?
This is a very Marika tactic.
Okay?
It's like the
That
rules
is
of
the
the game
key.
here.
It is a game. Until you have them as your boyfriend, that's when you, like, even then, okay? Just don't show all your cards. Like, he knows that you are into him. That's it. Good. Awesome. I mean, you kind of revealed maybe too much. But don't text him. If he asks you out, be like, oh, yeah, cool. And then, you know, kind of maybe a few days before the date, be like, actually something really came up.
Marika, you are jumping ahead.
Holy shit.
You are jumping ahead, and that's a shitty thing to do. I would say...
I'm sorry. I'm just saying it because I got hurt so many times with people who are emotionally unavailable, and I was always available for them. As soon as, like, I felt like I was getting more attached, everything changed. You gotta, like, be indifferent. He already knows you're into him.
James, do you have counter advice on this? Or?
I mean, that is definitely one approach. I would say, like, if the guy has said he is emotionally unavailable, he's unavailable.
Yeah.
Like, if someone tells you they're unavailable, believe them. And if you're still interested in pursuing a relationship someday, then just be very upfront and say, like, hey, I understand that you're just getting out of a relationship. I don't want to rush your process of dealing with that, but I just want you to know that, like, I like you, and if somewhere down the road you want to grab a drink or you want to whatever, like, I'm open to that, but I want to give you your space and, like, let you deal with what you're dealing through.
See, that's great also.
Yeah, that seems like the right advice.
I don't know. I just think that, like, I understand where you're coming from. Like,
Yeah.
like you're really talking about, like, guarding yourself.
Yeah.
Which you can do, but, like, you have to be vulnerable if a relationship is gonna work.
For sure, but I think, like, guarding myself in a way of, like, what effort are they bringing into the relationship before
Right.
I can, like, give a little bit.
Sure.
Because, like, in the past for me, like, I have, and they just, like, don't.
You want to ensure that there's a mutual level of respect.
Yeah.
I
clear.
think in some ways we're, like, kind of saying the same thing. It's basically, like, don't chase people.
Yeah, don't chase people.
Yeah, like, if...
Yeah,
They'll come to you.
Exactly.
Listen to Thank You Next and just, like, get to know you and, like,
awesome, yeah.
get on the elliptical.
Yes.
Don't get
We have to do
married.
successes of the week.
Ooh.
Do I get to go first?
Yeah.
With my success? Oh.
Yes.
Yesterday, my boyfriend and I went to a holiday party, and we decided at, like, 9 a.m. that we were going to make cream puffs.
What time is the party?
The party's at, like, 9 p.m.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
8 p.m. or whatever.
Okay.
So we had, like, all day to make cream puffs. We had a French cookbook that we tried to follow along. So it's kind of a failure and a success.
You had not made them before, ever?
No.
Okay.
Totally messed them up the first time.
Okay.
They were all wrong. And then we...
Like, deflated?
they were
Deflated.
hard cookies. Like, they
Okay.
were, like, burnt sugar cookies. And they
Okay.
were supposed to be puffs, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It was really funny. And then like 6-7 hours later, we finally found the right recipe, and we made these really delicious cream puffs that like everybody at the party was like raving about.
Yay!
So it was like,
And you guys were like, if you only knew.
yeah, like but we were like exhausted at the party because we were on our feet in our kitchen all day making cream puffs.
Shit.
That's cute. That's
Yeah.
so cute.
I
That's
want
what
a
we
boyfriend to make
did.
I know.
cute shit with.
I know.
We had matching aprons and everything.
Ah,
Oh my
shut up.
The worst.
My success was on Monday. I went to Salvation Army I thrifted my entire holiday outfit basically.
Okay.
So I found like a cool belt, and I found this cool 80s plaid shirt, and then I was like leaving, and then there was this like beautiful, well, you saw it, I don't know if you think it's beautiful, but this like West Elm chair
Oh, I love that.
at
chair.
Salvation Army, and I was like, fits perfect. Like
Yes.
fits my aesthetic perfectly in my living room. And I was like, but I biked here from work. I'm off the Grand Blue Line stop. I don't think I can take this in the train.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do I? So I called my friend Ari. So she drove down. The chair does not fit in her car.
Oh no.
So I was like, okay, I guess. And the rule at Salvation Army is you have 24 hours to pick it up.
Okay.
And then after 24 hours, they charge you $10, 3 days in a row, and then it's theirs again, but you don't get your money back.
Oh.
No.
What?
Thanks, Christian thrift store.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let's just carry it back in the store, and I'll figure out tomorrow how to get it. But then this man is like, are you trying to buy that chair? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, come in my car. Like, I have a big car, and I will just drive you to where you need to go. And I was like, okay. And like, Ari was really suspicious. She was like, I'm gonna follow you, and if anything happens, like, I'm like, he's like my dad's age. Like, he was like this cute
knows?
man. So we put
Let
it.
me-
His name was Hamid. We put it in his giant ass car. We went to the other Salvation Army because he needed to pick up a lamp, and he was like, he's like, you can help me pick up the lamp, which he did not need my help. He was just being
Now
nice.
who's your boyfriend?
Yeah.
He was Tunisian.
rub his lamp?
No! He was like, the first thing he said, he was like, I just love furniture. I love furniture. He's like, this is like, let me help you get this home. So I rode with him in his car, and he ended up being Moroccan, and we spoke French in the car.
Oh
and
my
like,
god.
amazing.
That's so cute.
yeah, it was, and then he like dropped me off at my place, and then Ari had driven there to like meet me there. 'Cause she drove with my bike actually, which I was like, you don't have to do that, but she drove my bike home. And yeah, it was just so like, it was like the kindness of strangers, you know?
Yeah.
Like, when does that
Yeah.
happen?
Thank God you didn't die.
Marika?
So this is kind of an old one, but it's recently happening again. So I'm actively using Hinge.
Me too.
So I kind of took a little hiatus.
Oh wait, did you
What
know
is
Hinge
Hinge?
Okay.
I'm so out of the
Dating app.
game.
It's
It's
for
a date. It's a dating app. No, you can be gay on it.
Oh yeah, you can be gay.
You can be gay.
Sorry, 'cause you're gay. Duh.
And then to match with somebody, you like one of the things on their profile. You either like a photo or you like one of the answers,
Yeah.
and then you can say even why you liked it. Like,
Yeah.
it helps you start the
Okay.
conversation that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like actively using it, and I'm actually like before. I'm just gonna like this, and now I'm like kind of like I'm still doing that occasionally, like most of the time, but
Doing what?
just liking, not commenting.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Because on Hinge, you can comment when you like a
Yeah.
specific part of the profile, and you can comment as part of it to kind of
Yeah.
get the conversation started.
so I now am commenting more than I did before.
Mm-hmm.
There's this guy who
Like
like
crickets.
basically had like a really great profile, and he was raising like a baby like gosling. Like, sorry, I don't know why I said baby, but it's a gosling, so a baby goose, and it was so cute. And I commented about it, like, what happened to the gosling? Like, what happened? He hasn't responded, but we matched and didn't respond.
Damn.
He was so cute, and now I lost him. I don't know. They're like, it's hidden after 14 days. I'm like, God.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're trying.
Yeah, I am too.
And
So.
praying.
On the toilet.
On the toilet.
The toilet. You guys, that's our episode.
Yay!
You guys, we asked you to do stuff at the end of the episode, but I think this month,
You know what?
just share it. Just share the podcast with
Just
somebody.
share it with somebody.
We
or
got that
just-
amazing email from our friend's friend. We didn't know who that was.
Yay!
And we love that. So
we love that.
please
Love
share
it.
our podcast. We'll talk to you guys later.
Next week.
Bye, scabies.
Goslings.
Bye. Oh, bye, goslings. Wait, that's so cute. Bye, goslings.
Baby animals. James, it's really hot, you guys.